Sego, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Akwesasne Review, the first TV show dedicated to bringing you current events and highlights from in and around Akwesasne.
And we're your panel of hosts. I'm Ryan King.
Hi, I'm Anthony Tillman.
Hi, I'm Amber McDonald.
And hi, I'm Benjamin Herne.
So today we're going to talk about the unofficial results from the 2016 St. Regis Mohawk tribal elections. What's everybody's thoughts on that?
Well, what had happened was...
First of all, they're not even official yet,
as at
correct?
this point, they're not official. They've just released the unofficial numbers and the unofficial winners, which was Beverly Cook for the position of chief, and for sub-chief was Shelly Jacobs. So at this point, they're unofficial because there had been an appeal which was filed, and the election board is now currently investigating that appeal.
Yeah, we don't get to know what the appeals were, which is interesting. I would like to know.
I know, as part of media, I don't know if they'd necessarily share that with us, but that would be kind of interesting to say who was being appealed, what were the grounds for the appeal, I don't know, maybe they're poor sports, I don't know, but it's interesting to find out regardless.
Yeah, and I don't know what the deadline is either on that, like how long does it go on? How long does the appeal process take? Investigations, I just wish we were maybe a little bit more informed on it. Mm-hmm. But that's just me, maybe, because I'm kind of nosy and like to know what's going on.
Well, I just want to put it out there. I called it. I knew Bev would get back in, and I knew Shelly would get back in. It was just, to me, it was common sense. They did it. I want some money from you guys for doing that. Yay!
But, we can't also forget the other people running, because as we said in our previous segment, it takes a lot of bravery and courage to step up in any political platform and run to support your community. So who are the other contestants that were running for chief and sub-chief?
So for tribal chief, it was Beverly Cook, Ruth Herne Bell, and Donald Thompson Jr. Yep. And for sub-chief, it was Shelly Jacobs, Wendy Adams, and Jeffrey Lozon.
Yep. And again, kudos to those guys and women for jumping up and taking the initiative to put their names out there, because it does take a lot.
It does take a lot.
You put yourself under scrutiny, you put yourself under the spotlight, and you have to develop some thick skin very quickly, because everybody, it's the nature of our community, everybody has something to say about your name being out there.
And I know the election board, I think there is a process there that needs to be looked at as well. I feel like there shouldn't be still an unofficial list. I think maybe that they need to start looking at time frames on things with the background check, the whole process, I feel like everything's rushed, everything happened so fast, there was caucus, there was not even an official list of candidates in time.
It was almost like the week before, I think they gave them 2 weeks to campaign.
And what does that do for absentee people that aren't even in the community that want to vote, with an unofficial list, how does that...
Exactly.
And I kind of agree with you in terms of the appeal. We know that it has 5 days from the unofficial results being announced to actually appealing. But then giving them a timeline on that, too. You would rather see them do that right versus rushing. So, as long as that timeline that you're referring to is enough time to do that. And again, if there's many things they need to investigate in the background, we want to make sure they're not making any hasty decisions. Either.
But I do know that the tribal chiefs swearing in and sub-chief, or the positions, are supposed to be sworn in on July 1st every year. Right. That's officially when the swearing-in ceremony takes place. So, TikTok, right? Yeah. What happens?
I agree. Everything's, like you said, Amber, everything is rushed. To be honest with you, I didn't even vote this year because no one campaigned to me. I didn't know anybody's platform. I didn't know what I was voting for. If I'm going to vote and be part of the process, the democratic process that we have, I want to be informed on what you stand for. What are you going to do? What are your plans? I didn't have any of that, so it wasn't a big deal to me to even vote this year.
And you know what? And I hate to say it, but I think you might be speaking for a lot of the community members in Akwesasne as well. We are in the age of social media where a lot of campaigning is done through Facebook, even maybe Twitter, but there is that old school mentality where in the past you've seen candidates go to houses, come up and speak to you. We're just in a different time frame. So I wonder, maybe we should take a poll sometime, but to see, how many people are not voting just because they feel disconnected from the process.
But on a great note, ATV did
some
campaign stuff with a couple of the candidates. They came in and did ads, for Akwesasne TV, and I think that's fantastic, and I think that has so much potential, and great for us. And like you said, we are moving into a new age, so.
And we were there for the unofficial results with Kevin. That was awesome.
That was streaming
to be
live
there,
on
stream
Facebook.
live.
That was great as well.
It's a powerful tool.
So up next we have the heated topic of the transfer of Principal Thomas from the Mohawk School over to Salmon River. So what's everybody's thought on that one? This is going to be a good one.
I don't know. I really don't have an opinion because I really don't know both sides of the story. My big thing is I don't put too much into it because my kid's only in second grade, third grade. My main important thing is graduating high school. So whatever happens is how I play it.
I was at the tribal monthly meeting this past week, and or was it 2 weeks ago? Sorry, I was on training. I don't remember. But it was brought up underneath the at the end of the meeting. Somebody brought it up, like for tribal council to if they support her, this and that, and we talked about it for a really long time. A lot of different opinions. I feel like I don't have really I shouldn't, put my name out there with an opinion because I don't have kids in the school system, but we did hear from one of the chiefs that there is a very high dropout rate in the high school of Native students, and surprisingly, they said that it's the females that are dropping out, which I was very surprised at. So one of the things that I thought of was it would be great for the females in the high school to have a strong female leader up there as a principal, somebody to look up to, somebody to mentor them. And, if she's done such a fabulous job in the Mohawk school, like all these kids are doing great, it's time to focus on these high schoolers now.
I agree and I disagree. I think, in my opinion of it, and again, I don't have kids in school, so my stake isn't that strong. However, opinion through Akwesasne TV is that if Stan Harper had included her in discussions ahead of time and received input and feedback and maybe got some ideas how they could improve the high school with her, knowledge, rather than saying that you're going to be moved, I think it would have been more accepted. And at least you would have an opportunity to say, hey, I have an opinion on it and I don't appreciate not being included. Now, given the fact that administration is technically allowed to do this, I still think just by courtesy, they could have said, hey, Chrissy, what do you think about this? And then go from there.
The
delivery, the messaging.
Yeah,
it really is.
How it was delivered.
I mean, because if you're umbrellaed under one school system, I do agree that if it's one lateral to another, I mean, it could be done. But again, if you have somebody that's very strong in the school system that had an opportunity to work with our youth for so long, wouldn't you give them that common courtesy of saying, hey, we're thinking about it, we're not sure, but what are your inputs? Maybe you have some ideas on how we can improve it without just saying, boom, you're gone.
And I think the big thing that we're getting upset about and what everybody's getting upset about is that we don't know all of the information.
And that's true.
We don't have
Very
all
true.
of the details.
Yep.
We don't have Harper's side. He hasn't spoken to anybody or hasn't issued a statement on anything regarding Principal Thomas and her change. He hasn't said anything. The school board hasn't said anything. There's been a couple meetings that the community has gone to voice their opinions, and the board has said nothing. Granted, they don't have to say anything because it's a public comment period where the public can come and just say whatever is on their minds to the board members. They'll take note and then they'll bring it to their board meeting. So I think that's what is really making people mad is that, like you said, the delivery, she was notified this by email so that she's told everybody. I found out through email that I'm being transferred and it's in like a month and a half, like I'm leaving. And, kudos to her. She's done a great job at Mohawk School. Exactly. People have saying her praises up and down, left and right. She's done amazing things for that school. And I'm kind of in the same mindset of you guys is that, okay, if she made all these changes at Mohawk School at the elementary level, what can she do in the high school level?
Exactly. I mean, and she's been there so long and she's, all the teachers love her. She's doing such a great job. Have faith in that team and that staff and that procedure and everything you've done at the Mohawk School now. Spread it around. 70% Mohawk kids at Salmon River. Great. Let's get over there. I don't want to say take it over, but let's
you totally stole my stat. 70%. That's a huge number because I know when we were in school, it had ranged anywhere from 53 to 55%. So 70% is still a huge increase from 20. Okay, a couple years ago when we were in school. Like 3 years ago.
Graduated last year.
But still, I think the opportunity is there. I just think there's a lot of hurt feelings on the back end just because of processes.
And we talked, like I said, we talked about it at the tribal monthly meeting a long time, and she wasn't there, and there was all the support for her and all this and that, and does the tribe support her? What are the chiefs doing? I mean, I didn't know where she was in the mix. Does she want the chiefs to support her? Is she looking for support? I keep hearing other people say things on Facebook supporting her, this and that. I mean, I just don't know.
And then again, you got to figure out how much does the chief support matter, because it's run by the New York. It's a New York
Exactly.
State school. You see.
Yeah, there's
It just
regulatory
happens to be
and
here
state
on
education.
our reservation.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how big of that would be.
Yeah, there's
in
federal
getting the support.
regulatories that look over all the school boards
Yeah.
throughout the entire country. So again, they're going to be regulating what's happening in the school system. So there might be a small portion of what the chiefs could do, but I think it's more or less the
I don't
moral
think
support amongst the community that's
Yeah.
trying to say, hey, listen, somebody has been done wrong in the school system, and let's try to at least discuss it. And the fact that the school board is not discussing all this information, at least in my mind, it's still, we don't have all the facts yet. And you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
We need to wait for something for we can render that decision that says yes or go, or no, there's something wrong.
Yeah. I know, being a female and going to Salmon River, I would have loved a female Native Mohawk principal there. In my 3 years ago when I graduated, that would have been great. Speaking from a woman's point, I think great. Get her over there. Let's work on getting these kids graduating.
So you're saying because there was a male principal that you're not the next Bill Gates because there was a male principal? Is that what you're trying to say, Amber?
No, I'm just
I know, we're
saying,
trying to read between the lines here. We outnumber you on this panel, so I'm just saying.
I'm just trying to say, like, if that is the issue, if that's the problem, the girls aren't graduating, what's the problem? Maybe a strong female lead over there would help that.
And it's scary. I mean, when you hear the stats that are coming back from the school about the dropout rate, and the large population of our Native students, I mean, it's just concerning in general as a whole. We're looking at schools to provide safety and also to make sure that you're given all the tools to graduate on time and to make you successful to go to college. I mean, these are preparatory years for kids to move onward and upward in their lives. And if they're missing a key part of that, maybe they do need help in that section. And if she's that strong role, so be it. I get it. I'm kind of going back and forth, but at the same time, I just need more information.
Yeah.
I think this is a topic we can beat to death because we don't have all of the information. And I think the stance that we've taken is that it's not that we don't support Principal Thomas. We do. We recognize all of the amazing work that she's done at the Mohawk School. I personally would like to see what she could do at the high school level. If she doesn't want to go and it's against her wishes, it's that difficult gray area where we're just like, you have an employee or someone who is an administrator that does not want to leave her position because her heart is there. But it goes back to this community does support her.
Yeah.
And I think we can all take comfort in that. And I think she can too, is that we all support her and acknowledge everything that she's done up to this point.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Everybody seems to be, very happy with her. Everybody, teacher stood up and praised her and everything that she's done. And yeah, I mean, kudos to her for being the hot topic where everybody wants her. Everybody wants her here, everybody wants her there. That's great. So good for her.
yeah.
Right.
Do not transfer that channel. We'll be right back.
Hi, Everett from Furniture Weekend. My wife Kathy and I are wondering, since it's cold outside and you're spending more time inside, are you noticing that your sofa's worn out, your mattress has a sag, or your recliner needs replacing? See us for all your furniture needs. From rustic to contemporary, we've got it. Furniture Weekend, 44 Duane Street, Malone, open 10 to 5, Friday through Sunday or by chance or appointment. And remember, at Furniture Weekend, we open less, so you pay less.
We've been doing the health food store for about 22 years now. Any type of food, any type of supplement, I've got it. We have a very, very large selection of your wheat-free, gluten-free. We have a very large weight loss section. We have 16 feet of protein shakes. Healthy way, herbal knowledge spoken here.
Our next topic made national headlines. It was Club Pulse being shot up by Omar Mateen. It was known to be an LGBT spot to go dance, have fun. 53 people were injured, 49 people were killed. I want to know your thoughts about it. Before we have your thoughts, may we take a moment of silence for this real quick. Okay, so what are your thoughts?
It blows my mind. I don't even know what to say about it.
It really is one of those situations where you really don't have words. I mean, I was on my way back from up here from Florida, and the only reason I knew anything about it was because before I got on the plane, it was on CNN and it was a national headline that there was a nightclub shooting in Orlando. I was like, oh, damn, that sucks. Sorry for them. Sucks to hear all that stuff. When we got into New York and the connection, that's when all the details had been unfolded, that it was at Pulse nightclub, it was an LGBT spot, that so many people had died, and that's when they started bringing out the names and pictures of the people who had been shot. So it was just like, oh my God, this is a reality. This is something that is like a tragedy. It's
a nightmare.
It is. It really
it's an
is
absolute
a nightmare.
And you think about the friends and family of the victims that lost their lives and the victims that are recovering that witnessed it and went through this.
Like,
it breaks my heart.
And imagine like going out with your friends and having fun, like you don't think of something like that. You're just like, I can't even imagine everybody getting together. Like say we all just went out one night here and something like this happened. It's crazy. And then now the government's calling for all the tighter gun control laws, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like
I'm a proud gun owner. I'll put it out there. But it doesn't give me the right to go out and shoot anybody, to murder anybody. But I do want to put out there the big stir among the Native community is it's being labeled as one of the worst, if not the worst, mass casualties in U.S. history. And it upsets a lot of Native people because they forget about all the massacres that our people went through.
Yeah.
Wounded Knee, Pine Ridge, and so forth and so on. How America was founded on massacres of our people. And so for it to be labeled like that is very upsetting to many Natives. And what is your take on that?
Well, I think, not to downplay what happened in Orlando, but I do definitely see that point of view that they omitted a huge chunk of what happened to the indigenous people within the United States. And again, not to downplay the fact that this is recent, and with social media, you're getting a lot more of the awareness out there. But it also brought it to awareness what happened to our people, less than a century ago. It's really eye-opening. But I wanted to touch a little bit too on the gun control. I don't think it has anything to do with the gun control necessarily. A crazy person is a crazy person. It can be you stab them, you could poison them, you can shoot them. But access to anything they want to do to harm people is still going to be out there regardless of any laws.
Exactly.
And you know what? If you try to ban the guns, it's just going to make it that much more fun for them to try to get them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
And if
Oklahoma
you
City
have-
bombing, that was fertilizer that killed all those people. So,
And if you have that much hate for some
Nothing's
group
gonna stop
or
you.
something,
Right.
nothing is going to stop
You need counseling or like a hug or something. Like, my goodness.
But you know what killed me too is the fact that, at least in the culture, when they look at ISIS and they look at that type of religion, anybody that is, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, they are definitely looked down upon within that community. Yeah. It's a mortal sin, and there's a hate brewing for that. And I've said this even on my own personal Facebook, stop the hate. We're a nation that's all together, and when something like this happens, all I can hope for is that it brings out awareness that we're all diversified, that we come from different religions, cultures, and that we should be a nation that's a little bit more safe and accepting of each other. Mm-hmm. And again, going back to Pine Ridge and Wounded Knee, I mean, we'll never forget that, but it's also up to us to make sure that nobody else does either.
Yeah, exactly.
My thing is, if that's your lifestyle, however you choose to live your lifestyle, that is you. I will live me and I will love you. And so my call out to the public is, man, if you're having all those crazy thoughts and you need a hug, come see me. I will give you a hug and show you love. I promise you.
Can't we all just love each other?
Yes.
Right. We can.
All right, so before we go into our next topic, I just wanted to touch on, again, what happened in Orlando. It was such a tragic situation. And I know the media has one version of him being part of ISIS. But there's been other versions that have been coming out. The story keeps tending to unfold as we go. And another one I just wanted to focus on, or at least talk about, was the fact that maybe there was a troubled young man that he himself was struggling with being a homosexual. There had been numerous reports that he actually was part of that club and that he had been contacting individuals, but his father, strong in their religion, stated that homosexuality is a sin, a mortal sin, And so there was a lot of loathing, self-loathing that this young man was going through. So I don't want to discount the fact that, this tragedy happened, but at the same time, I wonder if there's more to the story than just him going in and shooting up. Maybe what was he struggling with on the back end? Now, what he did is reprehensible, but it just goes to show you that maybe there's other young people out there in our country that are struggling with those same type of issues. They don't want to come out, that they're struggling with it, and that they think it's wrong. And we're, in my opinion, we're one love. We're one people, and we can get past that.
Yeah, for sure. Love ourselves, love each other.
And know that there's support systems out there for each other. If you are somebody in a community that is struggling with any type of issue, know that there has to be resources out there. There's got to be another way from taking your life, taking the life of another human being. But at the end of the day, you have somebody a higher power to be answering to, whatever you believe in. And I just hope that you can do what's best for you in the long run outside of harming yourself or another person.
Yeah, only people that can change it is us, our community. Like I said, you look at all the colorblind incidents and all the incidents where we have shooters. Sometimes you're just asking for help. The way you reach out to people, the way you communicate, or the way I dress, or the way I talk, I'm just really asking you guys, somebody love me, somebody talk to me, somebody make me feel like I belong. And who knows if I or you would have seen this Omar and just talked to him and said hi, or that we could have changed this whole tragedy from happening. You just never know what your words can do to another person, how the effect it could change. Like you said, love changes the world, and if you reach out with love, things could happen for the positive.
Smile.
Mm-hmm.
Smile, say hi,
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I just wanted to get that little point out there because, whatever happened in Orlando could happen anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And we just need to make sure that, we as a culture, we as a society become more accepting. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what race, religion. I mean, it's about mutual respect and the love and dignity that we can give to each other that makes us a better person at the end.
Exactly. Well, on that note, it's time for a quick break. Stay tuned for more at Akwesasne Review.
At Millarni's, we're really proud of our Cub Cadet mowers. They make very dependable, very durable mower. They've got 62 models of lawn mowers. If you're mowing a half an acre or 10 acres, we got a machine that'll do exactly what you need it to do. You can get the zero turns with the steering wheel or the lap bar. We've got a 1969 Cub Lowboy outside that really speaks to the durability and dependability of Cub Cadet. They're an American company made in the United States, and we're really happy to have them as our primary lawn and garden equipment.
Whether it's for business or just a getaway, Cape Air is your wings in the Northeast. Cape Air serves 17 destinations throughout the Northeast, including Ogdensburg, Messina, and Saranac Lake in New York, Rutland in Vermont, and Lebanon in New Hampshire. Enjoy fast, frequent flights and easy access to your connections through Boston and Albany. Cape Air connects you to the Northeast and the world. Book today at capeair.com or call 800-CAPE-AIR and enjoy the ride.
All right, welcome back to this edition of Akwesasne Review. We're going to move on to a fun subject. I know we had a little bit of a, heartfelt conversation earlier, but, there's a lot going on in our community of Akwesasne, and just recently on June 15th, the St. Regis Rec is where it was. All the happenings. We had a dance recital. Kids from ages 4 all the way up, boys and girls. So I just wanted to, first of all, give a quick shout out to Laura Thompson and her amazing crew for putting on this recital.
Yes.
I know that she reached out to the casino. We were able to donate some stuff gladly, and I heard the event was awesome. I didn't see it, but come on, tell me about it.
I also
It was
didn't
awesome.
get a chance to go.
Oh my god, it was so freaking cute. Like you said, you had like little kids, like all the way from like 3 years old to like 12. I think was the oldest age group. I had Anthony who taught the Boyd section. It was one of those like feel good events where you went and you saw like all these little babies who are on stage doing little dance routines. So, like,
cutie patooties. I saw them all on Facebook.
They were freaking
Yes.
cute.
Yeah, everyone was posting on
Akwesasne
Facebook. It was
TV
cool.
was there. That was
there.
awesome. The parking was jam-packed. If you see shots on Facebook, to see all those people come out and support the community, I think that is huge. And also, we're getting thank you cards. What happened is we went out to eat dinner as a dance crew afterwards to discuss it. Came back, the waitress said, "Your tab is paid for." And we were like, "Whoa, what?" Yes, a family reached out and paid for the whole tab.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
it's good to know that they understand that we're giving back to the
And
community.
they really appreciate
And they appreciate
it.
it,
That shows their
yes.
appreciation. I mean, I didn't get a chance to go. I don't think I was even around, but I know a couple of the kids that I mentor at the Boys and Girls Club are dancers, and I'm not even sure if they took part in this. I know they were talking about a end of the school year talent show, but it's nice to see kids doing something besides the normal hockey, lacrosse,
Right.
you know, that kind of thing. They're dancing.
Yeah.
I think that's fabulous. You know, like my little kids at the Boys and Girls Club show me their little routines.
Oh my God! Do you guys remember? Okay, so maybe you guys are a little bit too young for this.
I remember.
You remember? Totally remember.
We used to
Tisha. Well, actually,
Tisha,
before that,
Tara.
Tisha, Tara,
Lip sync.
Carlene.
Lip sync battles.
Carlene.
Yes,
Yep.
but they weren't battles; they were contests.
There were
Contest.
contests back there.
Contest.
Oh,
Me,
yeah.
Joe
Contest.
Burns, and Jimmy Burns, and Junior Gray used to win them all the time. beating
Really?
the kids on the block.
Our
Yep.
good friend Jay
Angus
Benedict.
Mitchell,
Oh, Jade,
Angus
yeah,
Mitchell
yeah.
Memorial. They
Yeah.
used to have like a gymnasium with a stage,
I remember-
and that's where they would have the lip sync
I
contests.
remember it used to be at Brass. Back then it was Shafts. I remember being a young kid in there watching my friend Jade perform Elvis. You know, like that's one of my fondest memories.
I remember Magoo Cook.
Yes.
from
They're
back
good with the
then.
backflips. And
I
Yeah,
remember
he still dances
I remember
today,
being
so-
in high school and me and my girls, we did En Vogue, you know, like we
Oh,
had a whole little
snaps.
routine for music class. And
There's
when
video on that.
When that song
I'm sure
comes
there
on,
is.
I still got a little bit of
Wait a
those
second. If you
moves.
graduated only 3 years ago, and Vogue,
Right.
3 years ago, I don't know.
Oh, it was retro day.
No, but it was good to see because last year we only had a couple boys participate. This year, Kevin and I, big boy, we actually had enough to do a class. It was difficult because we had from 3 to 12-year-olds, but we made it work, and those kids just loved it. And we do it, or I do it. I can't speak for Kevin, but I do it because I want the boys to understand it's okay to dance. There's nothing wrong
Yes.
with dancing.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you this way or doesn't make you that way. It just lets you know there's something to do and have fun and just live in the moment. You
Let
know?
your soul glow.
Yes.
And I don't know if the high schools and junior high still have dances, but that was something that we look forward
Yes,
to.
yes.
Mentioning Jade, he and I used to dance in the basement and just practice routines for those
Exactly.
middle school dances.
So speaking of dances, me and my guy dance. I didn't get to go because, I think
You're
I'm
a
too
girl.
old. I'm a girl. I'm too old to go, I guess. But Anthony, you attended the me and my guy dance?
Yes, and that's another thing that I pitched when I moved here is because a lot of males get a bad rep here in Akwesasne. I mean, anywhere you go. And so I wanted the girls to see that, man, there's still good male role models out there. And this is a special time for them to dress up, get their nails done, go out to eat with that special guy in their life, and just spend quality time with them. And that was a success. It was just, it's been going on for, I think this is the 4th year now, and it's just awesome to see the little girls. A story that I didn't get to share was there was an ironworker who came straight off work from New York City, drove all the way up here to be in the dance when it first happened. And those are the stories that you would love to hear. That meant so much to him. That little girl, his little granddaughter, will never forget that moment. And that's what it's put on for those special moments.
And I think it's important too for the young ladies to understand what it feels like, how they should be treated,
Yes.
like
Yes.
how a man should treat you, take you out on a date. And I feel like I'm kind of corny that way, I don't know.
It's
Take
not
me out on
even
a
corny.
date, bring me a corsage, take me to a nice dinner.
What I like to
you
see is
know?
the fact that these guys, sometimes you see them in community and they're kind of with glasses, whatnot, melt in the hands of their daughters, their
Yeah.
granddaughters. They turn into big old softies, and that's what it's all about.
And
Because
dance with them.
it's awesome.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you see the pictures of them dancing together, and I would have never thought I would see
Yeah.
that guy, and there he is with his little daughter, niece,
Right.
whatever.
And that's what I tell them. I said, look, this isn't about your ego, guys. This is not the tough guy or I can't be seen dancing. This is about that precious moment you spend with that little girl that melts her heart and that she'll always remember.
Exactly.
So that's why we did it, and it was a success. So thanks for all the support.
I think it's a
Akwesasne.
great job.
Kudos.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it. That was
Good
awesome.
job.
That was
Very
absolutely
awesome.
good. So once again, this concludes another episode of Akwesasne Review. We'd like to thank you for watching. We had a lot of heartfelt stories, some positive as well. But without your viewership, we'd be nothing. So on that note, we say onagiwahe.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Bye.
Amber, sorry, you were on.